What's good with it, Black Goose TV family, man? Double salute as always. Your boy Fluence is back in the building again on the Fluence boxing side of the game. Look, I'm gonna be 110% with all of my people, man. Tonight I was really being like mad wish-washy on whether or not I wanted to go live or not. And I feel like I say this a little bit too much, but y'all know yesterday, obviously, Dimitri Bivol versus Ramirez happened. I didn't do the Fluence Lounge for it, unfortunately. I ended up, not be able to go live during the time that it happened, but it's all good, man. We're going to discuss a little bit about the outcome of that tonight, but that's not going to be the main focus. Obviously, you guys see the title below what the main focus is going to be. But once again, let me get back to my rant a little bit, but let me say this. Happy Sunday. You know what I'm saying? It's Sunday night. That means we're going into the beginning of the week, man. The way I'm feeling, I think, or at least I'm hoping that the beginning of the week does go as good as I'm planning it to be, or I'm hoping for it to be, praying for it to be, whatever the case may be. But you know, I'm just first and foremost, hopefully everyone's Sunday's been going absolutely amazing, or it's been good, or it's been great, whatever the case may be. If it hasn't been that good, hopefully it gets better, and hopefully if it doesn't get better, your Monday is a lot better than was today. Um, now, once again, I wasn't sure if I was gonna go live tonight. I wasn't sure if I was going to. I've had a good Sunday, man, a very relaxing Sunday, man. I had a great workout earlier. I didn't do my daily check-in. I've been slipping a little bit on my daily check-ins for my people. Don't worry, I'm gonna get back on that. Sometimes you gotta slip a little bit, and you know what I'm saying, and have the fall for you to get up. So I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop sliding on that. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying. I had a very good run earlier in the day. Watched the Lakers game. Lakers game was fun. I just kind of been chilling ever since then. For the most part, took care of some errands, took care of some bills for the most part, and I was just like, I was so relaxed. I was just like, do I want to go live with this relaxed demeanor? Do I want to go live, you know what I'm saying, where the energy isn't, crazy up there? Because, I had a very intense workout around 1:30, 2:30. You feel me? It's, I'm saying, 8:30 now my time. So it's like, do I want to do that? But ultimately, you know what I'm saying, I was just chilling. I was on the couch, you know what I'm saying? I got most of my errands done. The only thing I got to do left is laundry. I'm like, man, I might as well go live for a little bit. And that's why I got, usually y'all see the lighting is lit everywhere. You feel me? I got the big light turned off. All I got is just the regular light here because I'm like, that's my mood right now. It's the demeanor, man. Fluence boxing after dark is how I feel, even though, I'm saying it's not that late. But, nonetheless, I'm saying, I was like, let me go live for a little bit. Let me get up on this. Obviously, I'm on the Twitch as well. Y'all check out the Twitch Fluence TV. And I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna start doing what you guys know, I'm saying, especially if you're the OG of the channel. Y'all know, man, I got to put it into the air first. I got to keep saying it, I'm saying, kind of make sure it's known, I'm saying, kind of make sure like, yo, if I say it during the live, I got to do it. But don't worry, we got some improvements coming, man, when it comes to camera, sound quality, when it comes to just everything, the presentation, all of it, man. We got some improvements coming for real, for real. So y'all just keep rocking with us. Next year is going to be crazy when it comes to this boxing channel. I already know what it is, but I'm saying, you want to lay the foundation this year, especially when you're making improvements. So y'all keep rocking with us. Y'all keep doing what we're doing, keep showing love, and we're going to keep showing that love back. And we're going to keep improving and doing a lot better with it. Either way it goes, though, once again, here I am on the laid back side of the game, but we here nonetheless. Happy Sunday night. Y'all come up in here, man. Show your boy some love, man. Hit that like button below. Subscribe to the channel if you're not part of the family. You know what I'm saying? Notification game, so you know whenever we dropping something. And of course, on top of that, man, come up in here on the comment side of the game. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how long this live is going to be. I'm very happy that it is a live that is happening earlier. So if it does end up being an elongated live, at some point I am going to be throwing that link in there, and y'all can hop up in here and y'all can talk y'all. I gotta wait because I think I got to get through 5 minutes before I say something. I'm still learning on that, so y'all can talk you know what I'm saying, and get off whatever you got to feel. So I will be throwing the link up in here at some point. So I am hoping that it's going to be a pretty long live, especially since I'm starting at a good time. And you know what I'm saying, we get some interesting perspective. So, all right, now with all that being out the way, man, once again, double salute, double salute, double salute. Much love to the people, man. Once again, we got a different type of lighting because the lighting is going with my mood, and I'm on the chill game, and so I want to chill lighting. But we definitely got some things that we want to talk about. Obviously, Dimitri Bivol versus Zerto Ramirez happened over this past weekend. Actually happened yesterday. I did not go Fluence Lounge for that. My bad, y'all. And I'm just going to be 100% honest. It left my brain that the fight was happening in Dubai. So because the fight happened in Dubai, I totally completely forgot that fight was happening midday. I was assuming that just for some reason, the way Oscar De La Hoya was hyping it up with it being the zone, etc., I was assuming this fight was going to happen a little bit later in the day, but that was on me. So when I basically remembered and saw that the fight was happening, I was like, I missed it. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't miss it to the point where I couldn't watch the fight, but I missed it to the point where I couldn't go live for the fight. And even if I would have went live for it, would have been, on fire, because Friday night I went crazy. I'm gonna be 100 with y'all. I went total fluence on Friday night type of shit where you trying to, you kind of regret some things, but it was a good time nonetheless. But I wasn't able to go live for it. I definitely watched the fight. If you want me to be 100% honest with you, the fight went exactly how I thought it would go. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't anything that I was necessarily interested in, but so, probably like after the 5th or 6th round, I kind of tuned out, and then I kind of just went back to it like when I knew the fight was probably going to be over, just to make sure what I was guessing was actually going to be legit. And so Bivol won that fight pretty easily. Honestly, an overhyped fight, overrated fight, in my personal opinion. Obviously, Bivol is being elevated to another level because he beat Canelo, and there's a reason behind that. So I respect that, and I got nothing. And I understand the business aspect of it, but at the same time, still, not that interested. What I'm saying? Not that excited when it comes to that win for Bivol over Ramirez. Now I'll get a little bit more into that a little bit later in the into the stream, if necessary. But of course, man, we gotta touch into the topics that I got. Obviously, on the title, man, that's going to be the main focus of this particular live stream. I wanted to give you guys my 2 cents when it came to Bivol versus Ramirez, since I didn't go live for Fluence Lounge. And just to sum it up, I'm not surprised. That was expected. Ramirez is still a solid fighter, but definitely not, someone that everyone thought he was or how they projected him to be. He reminds me a lot of Jaime Munguia, and it just is what it is. So, great win from Bivol. And my personal opinion, I think we'll probably see Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev next, unless somehow Canelo tries to force his hand. But even then, I don't think he has that much to say if Bivol decides to actually say, "Hey, I want to go ahead and I want to fight Artur Beterbiev." I don't know if you guys saw, he got moved to number 1 pound for pound ranking right now. So Bivol is on the tear. You gotta give him that. You gotta have nothing but respect. So I want to give you guys my 2 cents when it came to that particular fight. Since my dumb ass, I didn't go live for it yesterday for the Fluence Lounge, but for the most part, it was an okay fight. I didn't really enjoy it, but it went the way I thought. Okay, so now with all that being out of the way, man, let's go ahead and get into the actual situation when it comes to this entire stream. What we're going to be talking about, like I said, I got the lighting a little bit different because we're more on the chill side of the game, but we might turn it up, we might change it out depending on how it goes. I'm gonna be dropping the link in a little bit later if you guys want to join me, you want to talk about a little something. I'm obviously gonna allow you guys to hop up in here. But you guys see the main topic at hand. The first thing that you guys are coming in and seeing: Anthony Joshua wants Dillian Whyte. What do I mean by that? Why am I saying this? If you guys don't know, I'm saying fair enough, because obviously a lot of people have not been necessarily reporting on who Anthony Joshua's next targeted fight is. Right? We have Tyson Fury fighting Derek Chisora, correct? Usyk versus Fury seems like it's going to happen at some point. But there's, as you guys can also see when it comes to my title, Ruiz versus Wilder is canceled. It seems like Usyk is more focused on getting the Wilder fight, more so than getting the Tyson Fury fight next. So Ruiz right now is out here. He's calling for the Joshua trilogy. So AJ actually has a lot of more options than a lot of people think. At least with what's going on, what's being put in place, and what's being speculated. And I just want to go ahead and just go through all that. I want to put it all out there, and I'm going to see what you guys think. Y'all come up with your own conclusion. I'm going to come up with my conclusion. You guys can go back and forth with me, whatever the case may be. But with that being said, man, let's go ahead and get to the first topic. Anthony Joshua apparently wants his next fight to be sometime next year in the March, allegedly in the March area. And he wants to fight the Dillian. He wants to fight Dillian Whyte, but really the way it's actually being presented or being put out into the media is he wants the winner of the next Dillian Whyte fight, which I'm gonna put all that up here, so y'all not just going off of my word. I'm starting to feel the energy now, and I'm starting to feel good. That's right, versus Franklin. I forgot who was Jermaine Franklin. He's fine. So it seems like he's gonna be one of the winner of Dillian Whyte versus Franklin. Let me go ahead and pull that up for y'all. Salute to the people, man. Salute to everybody up out there. Once again, hopefully you guys have been having a good Sunday, man. My Sunday been solid, just been working. So y'all see it right here, man. This is what I do. Just because the energy is starting to go, I'm gonna turn on my other light just so I can have it. Hold on. We up now, baby. Look, old school. We here. We here. As y'all can see, Boxing News 24. We're gonna have a good stream tonight, man. I'm already feeling, man. I'm already feeling it. All right, so Eddie Hearn says Joshua to fight in March. Whyte versus Franklin winner is the front runner. And then remember too what I was telling you guys when it came to Andy Ruiz, right? And we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna show you guys the proof on that right now. It seems as if Andy Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder may be a little bit more far-fetched than a lot of people thought it was, even though they're under the same banner when it comes to PBC, even though it seems like it's an easy fight. Right now, it seems like Usyk is hell-bent on getting the Wilder fight. Because he knows right now, I'm not going to get the Fury fight. Fury's fighting Chisora. Let's be real. This is why this is also smart from Usyk if he's hell-bent on getting this Wilder fight. Think about this. Say Wilder goes on, fights Ruiz, Fury fights Chisora, Usyk is out a dance partner. Or let's say Usyk fights Joe Joyce, right? Let's say Wilder knocks out Ruiz, Usyk wins on decision against Joe Joyce, Fury beats Derek Chisora late round TKO. So we're still going to have the three-headed monster in the sense of Wilder, Usyk, Fury. We've been through this before. I remember when I was a young gun, we used to talk about the three-headed monster with Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, and AJ. Ultimately, when it comes to three heads, it takes two to tango. So someone's always going to be left out. At a point, everyone thought it was Deontay Wilder who was going to be left out when it came to the three-headed monster. Now, fast forward, it ended up being AJ, and look how it has affected AJ's career. See, this is what people don't want to talk about. Deontay Wilder took the chance of fighting Tyson Fury, put everything on the line. He did lose. He has a lot of haters, but he is basically on heavyweight Mount Rushmore, right? Currently in this decade. AJ is not. AJ has went on to underwhelm because Eddie Hearn has tried to perfectly construct things to make AJ seem as like he's the perfect boxer, only to him succumbing and losing to fighters he didn't expect him to lose. Rather than taking a chance against a guy like Wilder back in, 3-4 years ago, a guy like Fury back 3-4 years ago, where if he would have lost to either one of them, he could be in the same position Wilder is now, where arguably Fury versus Wilder 4 is the biggest fight that we're looking to watch or see or expect it to hopefully come into, fruition, is Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 4. Nothing's bigger than that. Tyson Fury versus Usyk is not bigger than Tyson Fury versus Wilder 4. Tyson Fury versus AJ is not bigger than Fury versus Wilder 4. Wilder versus AJ is not bigger than Wilder versus Fury 4. Like, let's be realistic. But I think Usyk is being smart because he's saying, if I can get Wilder out of here, if I can beat Wilder, right, in a boring fight, convincingly, Fury versus Wilder 4 will not be the fight that everyone wants to see. Now, will that make Fury versus Usyk be the fight that everyone wants to see? Maybe not. But it just all depends on what we're fighting for at that point. So it's going to be interesting how everything is coming off right now. So as you guys can see, this is coming from Boxing News 24. Eddie Hearn says Joshua once again to fight in March. Whyte versus Franklin winner is front runner. This does not surprise me, not even in the least. Why doesn't this surprise me? I've already said it. I'm not going to repeat myself. There's no one out there for him to necessarily fight right now that makes sense other than someone who's basically going to possibly end the rest of his career. Joshua's confidence fighting either Dillian Whyte again or Franklin. Everyone's going to say, why doesn't he look for the Joe Joyce fight? That's too risky. Why doesn't he think about fighting Joseph Parker for a second time? There's Joseph Parker still out there. Joseph Parker is looking like, and he's aligned himself with Tyson Fury. That would be a good build-up. Still too much of a risk. Think about that. Is that not one of the craziest things in the world? AJ went from being on top of everything, calling the shots, having everything in place where, he had complete and entire control over his whole entire situation to now where he's on the outside looking in. And he has to take certain fights where it can still make sense, but it can be enough where he's still kind of talked about in a certain conversation. Because really right now, the only big fight Joshua has, let's be 100. People want to talk about Joshua versus Fury. No, that's not the big fight. It's Joshua versus Wilder. That's only really the big fight. The only way I see Fury fighting Joshua is if Joshua fights Wilder. Win or lose. Other than that, I really don't see a point for Fury having to fight Joshua. Other than for money. That's my personal opinion. That might be disrespectful to Joshua. I got nothing but love for Joshua. It's just the situation, the way it's gone. That's how it seems. From my perspective, no disrespect, but from my perspective. So, all right, let's roll it down a little bit. It's coming from Barry Holbrook. Eddie Hearn says the front runner for Anthony Joshua's next fight in March is the Dillian Whyte versus Jermaine Franklin winner. So a lot of people obviously are assuming and expecting Dillian Whyte to beat Jermaine Franklin. So we'll probably have Anthony Joshua versus Dillian Whyte trilogy. Oh yeah, that sounds like fun. Whyte and the unbeaten Franklin, 21-0, 14 KOs, are fighting this month on November 26th, live on DAZN at the Wembley Arena in London, England. Hearn feels that a Joshua fight against Whyte, 34, is a big one that would fill stadiums, and he wants AJ to use it to prepare him for a mega clash against Deontay Wilder next year. So what did I just say? I just said we all know that AJ, the big fight for him is not Tyson, it's not Usyk. He has to fight Wilder. So they're gearing up. They're switching their entire sights. As much as Tyson Fury is an interesting fight for them, as much as a lot of people want to see that, AJ versus Wilder right now is just a bigger fight, in my personal opinion, than AJ versus Fury. And I can be 100% wrong on that. Obviously, when you're talking about the British fans or UK fans, it's like, but they'll sell out arenas. There's so much more on the line between Wilder and AJ than there is Tyson Fury and AJ. You can build that fight up as if like this is their last fight for their careers. Like whoever loses this, they're done. They can't ever come back from this. Where Tyson Fury versus AJ, like Tyson Fury could lose against AJ and then he can come back and beat him 2 times and he'll still be the greatest ever during our era. You know what I'm saying? So that is smart. Will Joshua and his team end up trying to really move toward and make the Deontay Wilder fight? I don't know. The only way I see Deontay Wilder versus AJ happening is if Usyk versus Deontay Wilder gets made and Wilder loses to Usyk. Because then if Wilder can knock out AJ, Usyk fights Fury, Fury beats Usyk, back on the train. You know what I'm saying? But it's very iffy. Like I said, Andy Ruiz is talking about supposedly the fight versus him and Deontay Wilder is not happening, or is being stalled, or is very difficult to be made because Usyk really wants to fight with Wilder. What does that mean? I don't know. So, yeah. So I think Otto Wallen is a very fair fight for Joshua to come back to. Said Eddie Hearn to Fight Hub TV about Anthony Joshua's next fight in March. A lot of these guys price themselves out. Let's get me out. Philip Hirag is a great fight. He's IBF mandatory. I think the winner of Dillian Whyte and Jermaine Franklin is a very, very good front runner for the next one for Anthony Joshua to fight. He got his bluff called and he accepted it, and he just sort of lost his faith a little bit with boxing because he really wanted to fight Tyson Fury. Said Hearn about Joshua having accepted the fight offer from Tyson Fury, Fury after being called out by him. I think that's the main reason that he didn't fight this year, because it sort of messed up his mojo and made him think, what are these people doing? Fury said they want to fight me. Now I've got a deadline. Chisora gets another month for a deal, and I had to sign it then. Well, if you want to fight Joshua, why don't you sign it? I'm not on either or side. I'm just saying, I'm like, if you have to fight in front of you, I'm like, you're upset because Chisora got another month, but you're saying you want to fight. Why did you just sign it? You agree to the terms, sign it. That's why you're going to fight maybe at the end of February, but probably March. And that's another thing you guys have to put in mind as well. If Joshua is saying and his team is saying like, yo, we wanted this fight with Fury, we signed the contract or we agreed to all the stipulations, it doesn't make sense for you to agree to these stipulations to fight in, end of November, beginning of December, whatever the case may be. But then now when that shit blows up in your face, you're fighting all the way in March of next year. And that's where my argument comes in when it comes to Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Terrence Crawford did a real flex where he said, we're not going to agree to these terms because of what I'm asking for, and you're not willing to give it to me. So you're not going to tell me, oh, I never wanted to fight. I do want to fight because now I have this fight where I'm making, this amount of money, millions of dollars during a time frame that I would have fought Errol Spence. You can't say I didn't want to fight. You can't say I wasn't ready to fight. You can't say I wasn't preparing for it. You can't say I'm in shape. But with AJ and Fury, you can argue, AJ, how is it you really was ready to fight? You agreed to all the stipulation. You agreed to all the terms. It fell through, but now you're saying you're willing to wait to fight until February or March of next year. That doesn't make sense. That's a big discrepancy right there. That's a moment, in my personal opinion. It seems like we ain't getting with the real right there, but Anyway, let's continue. That's why you're going to fight maybe at the end of February, but probably March. Hearn said about Joshua, we are going through opponents tonight, and I think he's going to have the rest of the year off, probably, and start camp at the beginning of January. Definitely, said Hearn when asked if Joshua could fight Deontay Wilder in 2023. He was one of the names I mentioned tonight. I couldn't say a fight to AJ that he doesn't want. I said tonight, did you see Andy Ruiz over there? He went, yeah. I love to fight him again. By the way, we're gonna get into a video where apparently Andy Ruiz is saying he would love that trilogy as well. Do you guys really think Anthony Joshua wants that third fight with Andy Ruiz? I was like, why? I'm not fighting him again. He was like, why not? Fuck off. He's horrible. Then Jalab, the other guy who was having a fight with him, I said, yeah, I saw Jalab. I'm probably butchering his name. Excuse me. He said, I'd love to fight him. I was like, why? It's like 4-0, but he just wants to fight everybody. It would be an easy fight, but an easier fight before he goes into a Deontay Wilder, Dillian Whyte, basically. Yes, it could be, said Hearn when asked if Joshua will fight Whyte in March. So, a lot of save face, obviously. Eddie Hearn is his promoter. He's talking a good talk. He's saying everything he's supposed to say. He's saying all the right words. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's gonna come on. He's gonna say, okay, AJ doesn't want to take this fight. AJ doesn't want to do this. AJ doesn't want to do that. Like, I understand that completely. But at the end of the day, I'm like, especially with the year that Eddie Hearn has had, in my personal opinion, which is also in the title below when it comes to Conor Benn, also because we're gonna get into that interview as well. Because all of a sudden it seems like Eddie Hearn is backtracking on his words when it comes to the Conor Benn situation. I'm just saying, Eddie Hearn will say anything, as he should, as a promoter, as someone who's going to support you. He's going to say anything to make his best product look and always seem as if it will and forever carry on to be the best product. That's just what it is. That's the way you talk. That's what you do. That's business. I have no problem with that. And that's why I get a lot from when it comes to this interview, Ultimately, what I'm saying, how do I feel? Am I disappointed in AJ? Am I disappointed in a fight choice? No, actually, I think everything is coming together exactly how it's supposed to be. I think it's being handled the right way. I think we're going to see an AJ versus Deontay Wilder fight at some point. Maybe even if it's too late and it's when we don't want to see it, I think we're going to see it. Like, this is what I'm going to say when it comes to this particular time period. I remember the three-headed monster when they were invincible. Deontay, AJ, Tyson. Now to be where we are, and the only person who's technically invincible is Tyson Fury. But even with Tyson Fury, we have Usyk coming out of nowhere, and we're like, "Ooh, the boogeyman." So I'm like, it's very interesting how obviously time changes whatever you may believe or perceive to be the truth, and to an extent. You know what I'm saying? To an extent, I'm like, the truth is always the truth. Facts is always facts, but you always have to understand the narrative doesn't always align with what you think or what is presented as the truth. So if you understand what I'm saying, there you can get where I'm coming from with this. So it's very interesting to see how the dynamics have changed. And now I'm looking at this and I'm almost like, well, it would be a shame not to see AJ fight Wilder, because what did either of the fighters have to lose? Like, when they were the three-headed monster 4 years ago, everyone was undefeated. So I understand what you have to lose. Is that, that narrative or that, sense of, oh, okay, well, what if, I can be the greatest ever. Now everyone's on the same playing field. By the way, make sure if y'all come in here, man, hit the like button. If you're not part of the family, subscribe, all that good stuff. But, with that narrative now being out of the situation, being out of the case, it's like, I'm very curious to be like, I would love to see AJ versus Wilder, Wilder versus Usyk, Ruiz versus AJ 3, Tyson Fury versus Usyk, Joe Joyce versus AJ, Joe Joyce versus Deontay Wilder, Joseph Parker versus AJ 3, like Dillian Whyte versus AJ 3, Dillian Whyte versus Deontay Wilder, Dillian Whyte versus and Deontay Wilder have a lot of unfinished business when it comes to the two of them. So I'm like, this is the perfect time where we can see some of the greatest fights ever happen. But will boxing continue to be boxing? And I'm gonna be talking about this sport 2 to 3 years from now, talking about what if the opportunity we could have had, when literally, like, we're in a very beautiful era in heavyweights where anyone should be able to fight anyone, because the only person who has everything to lose is Tyson Fury. Everyone else has everything to gain when it comes to the heavyweight division. The only people who have something to lose is the promotional companies, is the promoters, and they think the money don't make sense, or they think they're not getting the fair end of the stick, or they, the broadcasting rights, or they want to put it on this TV channel, they want to put it on this TV channel, So just remember this, man, because I'm like, I know 4 or 5 years from now, I'm probably gonna look back during this time because it's like I never thought I would look back during the time of the three-headed monster of Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury being the three undefeated champs, trying to figure out will we ever see these fights to now be here and be like, okay, we only saw Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, but because of that, we also saw AJ take L's that he never should have, which took a lot away from him. And then we also saw Tyson Fury fights we didn't want to see. Deontay Wilder take a break. It's like it almost like it's like watching a good movie with an amazing story, but then the ending is terrible. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is what the ending was. So it's like I'm really hoping this isn't how it pans out. I'm really hoping that the expectations or at least the possibilities or the speculation and people, saying that we might see this fight might happen. It really takes place. Because that's what I want to see. I want to see these guys fight each other, and I won't take anything away from anybody for losing. Like I'll give everything in 100. Like I'll give more respect to the people just for the fight happening. But we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. It seems like boxing is staying boxing is, and we're gonna be robbed of some really good fights. That's what I personally think. As much as I think, Andy Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder, fire. Usyk versus Wilder, fire. You know what I'm saying? AJ versus Fury, fire. Fury versus Wilder 4, fire. Usyk versus Fury, fire. Like I just have so little faith in boxing. It's like, man, that shit probably won't happen. They finna do as dirty as always. You know what I'm saying? But let me try and stay optimistic. You know what I'm saying? Let me try and show some love. So my bad, y'all, man. Salute to the people. We back. Look, the full screen joint. We got the light back on. Last time we had the Fluence After Dark. We had everything on low key. So that was the first article I definitely wanted to get into and talk to the people about. I want to follow that article up with an AJ interview. You feel me? It's gonna be AJ. It's gonna be AJ basically just talking about the fallout. You know what I'm saying, for the fight between him and Tyson Fury. What's next? I don't know if we're gonna go through the whole thing. It's about 7 minutes long, but you know what I'm saying. I said all I had to say. Not all I had to say. I have a whole bunch more I want to say, but I definitely put my perspective up into the whole entire situation. So it's like, man, we might well hear from the man himself, the $100 million brother. You feel me? So let's pull that up for the people, man. Salute to everybody. Happy Sunday night. Y'all see, I'm already chilling. My vibe is amazing right now. I ain't even finna lie to the people. You feel me? Hopefully you're on the same type of time. You already know what it is. All right, here we go for the peeps. Let's get the captions in there just in case it's not loud enough. You feel me? Full screen. Let's turn it up. Let's get it. Oh, I ain't have it on the where y'all can hear it. My bad. Gotta do better.
TV proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're in Abu Dhabi here. I'm joined by Anthony Joshua. First of all, how are you?
Sweet. You?
I'm all right.
How can I help you?
What?
How can I help you?
Do you want to
Yeah,
help
like
me?
he work at McDonald's. Nigga said, how can I help you?
With an interview, yes.
Okay, let's jump straight to it. In your opinion, why didn't the Tyson Fury fight happen? Your opinion. Go on.
Not opinion, facts.
Go on, facts. Go
Yeah,
on, in your
deadlines
opinion.
weren't met.
There's got to be more to it than you saying deadlines not met.
Yeah, that's it. Simplistic forms. Deadlines weren't met.
What y'all think about
Did
that?
you feel like when Fury was putting out social media posts saying that you had to sign by a certain time, that was there a little bit of you?
The geezer just wants to fight. He wanted to fight on a certain date. Half of it is right. We need it. Look, when you're dealing with a situation that's so big that we're in, it's not small. It's not a simple fight. It's a big fight. So, I could go into further detail, but basically, it probably did need a little bit more time, and he wanted to fight on a certain date. So the deadline he set for someone on my capacity weren't fit for the date he had in mind, December 3rd. It didn't work out.
The question I was going to ask you though, when Fury's on social media saying you have to sign by today or the fight's not going to happen, there's part of you think, hang on a minute, it don't work like that. We'll work it out and do it, etc.
I don't see it. I got a good team now around me that will try and make it work. I'm not thinking, hang on a minute, because he said that on social media, because the lawyers are going back and forth. So if he says one thing on social media, that don't deter lawyers from doing their job. Lawyers are trying to get paid. They're trying to get every hour in they can at the end of the day. So I just wait until I get a phone call and says, look, it's dead in the water. But until I hear it from my representatives, I don't really listen to social media stuff.
So who's to blame for it?
It's like we're on a playground, isn't it?
No, but who's
Tell the
to blame
truth.
for it?
Tell the
the fans
truth.
want to know who's to blame for it. Why the biggest fight in world boxing right now ain't happening? Who's to blame for it?
It will happen. It will happen. It will happen. Shoulder roll. It will happen.
Are you disappointed you're not going to fight this year, though?
Yeah. That, you know what? Fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world was a big opportunity for me after just coming off of a loss as well. Like, that was a fight that was like, you got my back up and say, yeah, let's go. So it's annoying that it didn't happen. And yes, it's annoying. And that's why I decided after that, I thought, you know what? It's too much back and forth. Like, when I'm ready to ride again, I'll ride out proper. I'll ride until the wheels fall off next time out. In the sense that I've got myself a time frame, a duration, I've got a hit list, and we'll rock and roll.
Could we see your first fight back after the second Usyk fight against Dillian Whyte? That's what Eddie Hearn's talked about.
You know what it is? It's best that you do speak to me because I can say it from the horse's mouth, but it could be. But don't hold me to the cross with things I say because the game's forever changing.
Who would have thought, man? Who'd have thought AJ would have went through a whole entire pathway just to bring him back to Dillian Whyte, man? And not even the Dillian Whyte of 2-3 years ago where we thought Dillian Whyte was championship material. No, the Dillian Whyte who's been knocked out in 2 of his last 4 fights. Sheesh.
It's also whatever Dillian wants to do as well. But would I fight Dillian again?
Of course.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, it's a money fight.
Also being mentioned is talks with Deontay Wilder and his team regarding a fight there. That's been spoken about for a long time. Correct. He returned to the ring against Helenius with a very good win. So that's an option for you for 2023 as well?
Yeah, I look at Deontay Wilder in the same fashion. He said he's got a couple of years left. And he probably wants to put me on his hit list. So it's a fight that will definitely happen. Now he's more than eager. You know? What's he now? I think he's a bit older now. So he's eager to kind of make the last of his career a successful one. And he wants to fight. So
it's very interesting to me to see the difference of the way AJ talks about Deontay Wilder in comparison to when he used to. And this is back when, when you were a Deontay Wilder fan, it was very cliche. AJ was the man. Wilder was ducking everybody. AJ was very off-putting when he talked about Deontay Wilder. Like, you think you can be in the same sense as me? Now, hearing him, you can see the humbleness. The humbleness in his eyes and his demeanor, where he almost kind of relates to Deontay Wilder because he's had some of the biggest fights in his life and he's lost. The difference is he also realizes at this point Deontay Wilder is surprisingly above him because he took the fights that he would never take. That's just realistic, and that's just the fact.
Some of the top names
you see
in
it in
the
his
division.
eyes.
So yeah,
you have to
he'll
respect
be
him.
Keen.
There's also talk of you having a warm-up fight. We say a warm-up fight. There's no warm-up fights in heavyweight boxing. We know that. But
yes, there is.
One of these opponents outside of
proper fight.
Serious fighter. Yeah. Is that an option as well?
Everyone's not Coogan, you know that is with me, innit? That big man over there is an option as well. He might be an option.
I'm definitely not an option for you. Last one.
Why I'm saying that, yeah, they're all options. Whether I have a warm-up fight, whether I just jump back in. You know what it is? I'm well managed, innit? I'll do whatever. And I know it's like, think for yourself, but I'm down for whatever. I think in the ring. Whoever they put in front of me, I just think how I can get them out of there. And I just got to do that. That's what I'm good at.
Last one. If you can pick your fight next time round, pick it right now. Who'd you pick?
I don't know. I'm not even thinking about that yet. If I'm going to be honest, I don't really care. I'm not thinking about that yet. I'm resting. Training and resting.
That was actually a very telling answer, in my personal opinion. AJ, he took the time and he spoke, eloquently. He spoke, very specifically, respectfully about a lot of his opponents and fights that could possibly happen if they were put in front of him, how he would react, what he would do, etc. But then when asked, specifically, who do you want? What's the fight that you think makes sense most to you? Next, He had no response. So that tells me that most likely we probably will see him looking for the winner of Franklin versus Dillian Whyte, hoping that Dillian Whyte beats Franklin. Franklin is undefeated. He's his upcoming prospect, so we never know when it comes to that. Who knows? We're going to see where Dillian Whyte is now. Is he washed, or is he still kind of climbing his way up? Because Dillian Whyte is a very interesting part of his career as well. But AJ, he made it very telling. Like when you look at Deontay Wilder, like for a minute, AJ tried to switch a certain type of narrative, saying, "Okay, Deontay Wilder's how old is he? He's older than me." Like he kept on trying to speak about Wilder's age, and that being the reason why, okay, supposedly he may want to make this fight. No. Wilder is in a much better position than you. He does not have to fight you, AJ. Wilder can fight Ruiz, Usyk, Joe Joyce, Dillian Whyte, Fury for the fourth time, and not fight you, and he will still go down as a greater heavyweight than you. You need to fight Wilder for your career at this point. Like, you taking Dillian Whyte is not enough. AJ, you're at the point where you need to try and have the Fury fight happen. You need to try and make this Wilder fight happen. You need to try to make this Ruiz third fight happen. You need to try and make the Joseph Parker third fight happen. You have to try and avenge certain losses that you have had in order for you to be the fighter or the heavyweight that everyone put you out there to supposedly was supposed to become, and you didn't. So for you to try to hold yourself at a higher esteem than Wilder, you can't, because Wilder put himself in the trenches with Fury, and now he came out stronger because of it.
Who would you want?
You and Tyson Fury, of course.
Oh, next time around?
Yeah, of course.
I'm like, but what's the last thing he said? He ain't fighting me.
I'm saying, you asked me who would I like to see you in? I said Tyson Fury.
Questions because people just use my name for not clout, but it's just too much back and forth. 1 minute is fight me.
Cap
It's a
from
fight
AJ.
the fans want to see, but I'm hearing that now they're done with Eddie and
cap.
Joshua. It's a waste of their time. So it's too much back and forth.
All right, I'm being pestered to let you go.
Are you feeling good?
No, not really. No.
Life does get.
AJ, man, I really think AJ is gonna be one of the biggest disappointments of my era, man. Like I'm like I always say, I'm young to some, I'm old to most. But I think I'm gonna look back at this and I'm like, man, I remember AJ was really supposed to be that guy, and he just never was. He never ended up being it. While Deontay Wilder, regardless of what he does from here on out, he will be remembered for the trilogy fight versus Fury, and he's gonna have his haters and the people who hate him and say, oh, he's trash. But the majority of real boxing fans are gonna look at that trilogy fight and be like, those were the two top tier heavyweights, and they went all out. They had battle. They went 3 fights for it, and we have to appreciate that because we didn't see that between no one else when it came to supposed top competition. When it comes to the heavyweight, and I can proudly say that. I proudly say that because what I'm saying, I got a good contract signed. I feel good going to Monday, man. But I can also say that just because I'm like, when I really think about the impact and when it comes to the key fights that AJ's had, it really. I'm not from, I'm saying, the UK. I'm not, I'm saying, I'm from the US, but I follow both. And I'm just like, my personal opinion, like I've seen more exciting fights from Dillian Whyte than AJ. But I could be wrong. So let's finish this.
Like that sometimes.
I appreciate you, though, because you come for me at one point in my life recently.
Go on, tell him, Cougar.
No, that's all right. You come to me at some point, a low point in my life recently. And at 2 in the morning as well.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Nah, it's deeper than just cameras and boxing. There's a life outside of that, and I got your back fully.
I appreciate that.
2009, I mean, loyal to the soil.
All that. You got anything else you want to add?
Real quick, AJ does seem like a very, very, very solid individual, though. I will say that. He does not come off as fake. Like, Deontay Wilder and AJ come off as two of the solidest individuals in the heavyweight division. What I'm saying, when it comes to like just absolutely pure hard work and grit. From my era, I would give it to Joe Joyce and Luis Ortiz. And I would say honorable mention for Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte is just grit. OGs of the heavyweight division, Alexander Povetkin, and Derek Chisora, you know what I'm saying? And then obviously the best of the best, the champ is Tyson Fury. But Tyson Fury, for me, when it comes to personality-wise, Tyson Fury is like the fakest out of everybody. But like the most genuine people in the heavyweight division, in my personal opinion, is AJ and Deontay Wilder. They seem so genuine to me. So,
listen, We're all gonna die one day. No, I'm joking.
See,
But
I can't believe he just said that after that, because I'm like, that's how I know this nigga like that. It's not. I know he said he's joking. He's not joking, because that shit seemed really serious. But he's not. I know the mindset he's on saying that. I know what he's saying. I know where he's coming from that. That's a
So
fact.
true. It's so true.
That's a fact.
It's so true.
make
Ain't
sure
nothing.
live it today.
You ain't lying about none of
live
that,
it today,
AJ.
make the most of it.
Yep.
And
How
make
much
sure
money
if
you
your
want,
mum,
what
that's the life,
spectrum you want.
any problems with them,
Tomorrow
sort
is
it out.
not promised.
Speak to your mum and dad every day.
Tomorrow is
and
not
check with your
promised,
family
y'all.
as well. Family's the most important thing.
Yo.
Yeah.
Not even family, man. Just the people you care about.
Sweet.
Anthony Joshua, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, and
Great interview. Salute,
thank you
AJ.
very much.
That was a great interview. I enjoyed that interview. That was a great interview. I had a very good time when it came to that interview. Probably a better time than I thought it was. That was a good interview. AJ, see, here's the thing, man. I almost wish AJ wasn't. I'm not gonna say that, because I got a lot of respect for Eddie Hearn, but at the same time, Eddie Hearn mishandled the bag when it came to some certain boxers during a certain time frame, and AJ happened to fall within that time frame. No disrespect, this is what it is. That just is what it is. But okay, with all that being said, look, much love to the people. Okay, this stream, we having a good time. Well, I'm having a good time. I don't know if y'all having a good time. I'm gonna drop the link in a minute. I don't know if anybody's gonna be wanting to come up in here, man, late Sunday night. I feel absolutely amazing. I shouldn't feel this good. Like, I know it's Friday night football too. I'm not watching it none. I'm just on boxing tips. I'm chilling. I'm chilling for the most part too, because you know what it is, man. You know what I mean? I'm having a good time. Look, I had a very good contract signed over the weekend. I'm very happy. It's something I've been trying to get signed for like 3 months. It's like finally. So I'm happy. So I want to make sure I get some good sleep, so when I wake up tomorrow for work, man, the energy is, you know what I'm saying, transfers over to the next day so I can make some money. But okay. All right, so that was the Anthony Joshua interview that I wanted to go over, that I definitely wanted to talk about. I was actually very pleased with that particular interview. You know what I'm saying? Was I surprised? I wasn't necessarily surprised about anything in particular. But I was very pleased with it, because Anthony Joshua was very transparent. He was honest. He really showed his position when it came to everything that was going on, in regards to how a lot of people may seem or feel how things is going in a perspective of, you know what I'm saying, Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, supposedly, you know, that's interesting. So what we're gonna do next, like, so before, excuse me, I will move on to the next topics, because I still want to go on Eddie Hearn talking about Conor, Benn, Dimitri Bivol. I still want to talk about a little bit more about him and who he wants to fight next up. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go too crazy away from it. But I do want to get into this next reaction video, or this interview coming from Andy Ruiz after the Dimitri Bivol Ramirez fight. He's talking about he wants Tyson Fury. He's talking about he wants Anthony Joshua trilogy again. He's talking about Wilder versus him happening next. Seems like it's not as, you know, it's not as much as a done deal as people thought it was. It seems like there's a lot of speculation in the air when it comes to this. So I definitely want to watch that, get the perspective on what Andy Ruiz has to say about that. I want to say salute to the people once again, too. Once again, man. I'm having a good time. I'm chilling, man. Sunday night. You already know what it is, man. Much love to the people, man. We're going to be back tomorrow, too. The Lakers play tomorrow. So I'm going to get my workout in, and we're going to be back. We're probably going to do a Fluence basketball tomorrow for sure. So we can be on that. You know what I'm saying? By the way, man, y'all don't come at me crazy. Like, it's crazy, man. When I do be dropping my daily check-ins, y'all really be like, I don't know if it's y'all, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's random, but motherfuckers be really downvoting. Like, y'all don't even be downvoting my regular lives and nothing like that. I could have the most terriblest live. I could be talking shit on some other shit. Y'all won't downvote that. But for my daily check-ins, y'all be downvoting those like crazy. I don't understand. It's like, I don't know if y'all think I'm trying to flex some, but I do the daily check-ins just to try to keep everyone in tap. Like, I don't live the most healthiest lifestyle, but I'm like, as long as I get in some work, and I want to pass that on to people, man. I be trying to be positive. You feel me? I'm an old nigga to some, or old nigga to most, and I'm a young nigga to few. You feel me? So I'm trying to be like, hey, yo, if I'm doing it, y'all should do it. You feel me? It shouldn't be too hard. Y'all, I'm not saying y'all got to do what I'm doing, but just get something in. That's it. That's all I be on. Niggas be offended by that. Be crazy. They don't be liking that. Okay. All right. So Let's go. What's next up on the list? We finna watch and react to this Andy Ruiz interview. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna react to the Andy Ruiz interview. And basically it's gonna tie into everything that I was just talking about. Obviously, we just watched the AJ interview saying that he will fight so and so. He wants this fight. Damn, the ad is showing all type of food. I ain't ate nothing all day, and you know what I'm saying, I had that 6 mile run, but either way, I'm like, so he talking about this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. So we're gonna see how Andy Ruiz responds. You know, supposedly Andy Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder is getting blown up because Usyk versus Wilder is really in the works, and they're trying to make that happen. You know, so basically Andy Ruiz kind of just don't have nobody in front of him for him to fight. Andy Ruiz would love to fight with AJ for the third trilogy fight, but AJ wants, you know, as we just saw when it comes to that particular interview, he wants the winner of Chisora, of Dillian Whyte versus Franklin. So there's that. So Ruiz is in a very tough spot right now. So we're gonna go ahead and cue up his interview with IFL TV. Excuse me. Slow to the people. You already know what it is. And then what I'm gonna do too, because I'm like, it's 46 minutes in. It's definitely not late. Like on my side, it's definitely like this is early for me. But y'all know I started early. I was fluent early, so I'm feeling absolutely captivated. So I'm 46 minutes in. I usually wait until after the 30-minute mark for me to drop the link. So it's the perfect mark. We're about to go in an hour. Like, so I'm gonna drop the invite link. So if y'all want to, you know, hop in, create your own topic, talk your shit, whatever the case may be, y'all can do that. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be on live for the night. But for now, I'm having a good time. But there's a link. No one's hopped in the comments. No one said nothing. It seems like a lonely night tonight. Oh my God. But it's all right. We keep pushing regardless. But there it is. We over 30-minute mark. So if y'all want to have something to say, y'all can say it. But let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and play the beginning of this interview. I don't know if I'm gonna play it all the way through, but you already know, man. I'm gonna go ahead and take me a little bathroom break, have my little good time, and be right back so we can get it popping. You feel me?
Interview, and I had my kids there. We're doing the interview. We're talking to my kids are doing front flips on the bed. Boom. We're like, hey, what's going on? Be careful. That was crazy. Hey, Stitch. Sorry.
Legend Stitch Duran. Kugan Cassius for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're in Abu Dhabi here. I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. Andy Ruiz, looking very well with a lot of bling on. People can't see the shoes, but maybe we'll show them later on. How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. I'm fantastic. We came a long way, man, just to come and support Zurdo and know he's going to come and do his thing.
I mean, by the time this video goes out, it might be tomorrow. So let's get your prediction for Zurdo Ramirez and Dimitri Bivol. We know Dimitri Bivol caused a huge upset in the world of boxing a few months ago when he beat Canelo, your fellow Mexican. But what do you think is going to happen here today?
I think it's going to be a hell of a fight, man. Both of them are hungry. None of them want to lose. Bivol wants to still be champion. Zurdo didn't come all the way over here to not try his best to win, you know? So I believe Zurdo has all the abilities to win. He's tall, he's long, he throws punches, he's going to pressure him. I think he's going to break him down in the later rounds, and I think Zurdo's going to end up winning.
Okay, not long to find out. Now, in regards to yourself, obviously coming off a good win recently, you were happy with your display?
Yeah, I'm not happy 100% because of my long layoff. Me fighting my first lefty, it was a little awkward, but we stuck to the game plan. We did what we had to do, and we were smart. We had to be cautious, and we had to be careful with that left hand that he brings. So, we just trained really hard for this fight, and I'm just happy we won.
How close is the Deontay Wilder fight? We've heard words from relevant people to say that is the next fight for yourself and also for Deontay Wilder. How close is that fight to happening, Andy?
I don't know. It's all up to him, I'm here to fight whoever. The only thing that I want is the opportunity to fight for the world title again. And if that fight gets closer for me to fight Tyson Fury, then I want it, because that's the bout that I'm aiming for. That's the bout that I'm missing. That's the bout that I want, the WBC bout. And I'm not going to stop boxing. I'm not going to stop quitting until I get that belt.
Now, there is another one of your former opponents in the building here today, Nancy Joshua. Have you seen him, Andy, yet?
No, we're actually in the same role right now, and before I came over here, I was gonna go over there and congratulate him and say hi and all that, but later on I will.
Is a trilogy with Anthony Joshua on the hit list, should we say?
Of course. And I was telling one of the guys when I was sitting down, I was like, man, you should tell Eddie Hearns. Maybe he could do the trilogy here in Abu Dhabi. That would be awesome.
Why not? You fought in Saudi Arabia. Why not?
Yeah, why not, man? I feel in every fight, there's always has to be a trilogy. If one won and the other person won, there always has to be the third fight. And, I'm here to take any challenges.
If I was to give you like an open house invitation and say, just name me 3 fighters, whoever they are, forget politics, forget promotions, etc. 3 fights that you would want next at this stage of your career. Who are the 3 that you'd pick in order?
Tyson, Fury, Usyk, and Wilder. I think those are only the top ones that I haven't fought. And I feel before I retire,
It's crazy, man. Like I remember when the heavyweight, well, not I remember, like it's still going on, but it's just so crazy how fast time flies. Where it really is. Like when you're young, you don't really think about it because like when you're young, you be like, oh, 3 to 4 years. You talk about they're gonna be out of their prime in 3 to 4 years. That's nothing. Like when you're 17, 18, 19, you like 3 to 4 years ain't shit, right? You get 25, you get 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. You like 3 to 4 years is everything when it comes to athletic prime, not living your regular life, but athletic prime and enjoying it. It's so amazing, and the transformation and the difference and etc. is like, I mean, I remember, man, like this was such a, like for me, this is gonna be my golden era of boxing. You know what I'm saying? When I'm older, when I'm 40, etc., I'm gonna be talking back. I'm gonna be talking about the Andy Ruiz, Joe Joyce's, Joseph Parker's, you know what I'm saying, AJ's, Chisora, Dillian Whyte, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury's, etc. Like that's gonna be my era of when I'm gonna be talking about Usyk, all these different things. You know what I'm saying? Like people talk about Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, all that stuff nowadays, right? So it's like with me being aware, with me being a fan of the sport, with me being not a fan of the boxer, because that's why this channel was built off of me being absolute. I love the sport, learning it. Like that was my initial start of it, and then I became a fan of certain boxers because I love the skill level. But then, now that I never thought boxing would turn into something that was relatively touchable or achievable to everyone. Like boxing used to be such a cliche sport. But we're seeing that now as internet and things like that open up, where like I remember during my time, basketball was a out of the gutter sport. You had to come from nothing for the most part. Now it's the exact opposite. It's about how much resources you have to be great. Football is still kind of out of the gutter sport to an extent, but that's kind of changing too. Like a lot, like if you look at the studies and the percentages when it comes to a lot of NFL players, a lot of times you'll see somehow some type of genetic pass down where someone in their family at some point was in the NFL as well. So like we're seeing that. So and now boxing, now we're seeing in boxing, it came from a gutter sport to now is resources and is clout where you don't even have to be that skilled. It just depends on who's watching. So it's very interesting seeing, in my personal opinion, this shift and me also seeing that the era that I thought at one point, because I was so young and naive, would never end when it came to heavyweight boxing, is coming to an end in this great era with the Andy Ruiz, with the AJ, with the Deontay Wilder, Pulev, Tyson Fury, Povetkin, Ortiz, Joe Joyce, Joseph Parker, Dillian Whyte, like all these different guys coming, who are at the end of their careers at this point, or maybe not even at the end of their careers, but they know they have to Usyk, they have to fight certain people, in order to, really cement it. So I'm just hoping, because I know right now, all these guys I'm talking about, like us having this speculation, this is what I don't like. I'm gonna bring the full screen so y'all can see me. I want y'all to see me. I want y'all to look me in my eyes when I say this. Well, I don't like when I watch a lot of these YouTuber boxes channels, they make it seem like this shit is forever. They make it seem like your loyalty to a certain side is everything. And it may be because at the end of the day, they're looking to get a check. They're looking to get a brand deal. They're looking to get, a certain alliance so they can be good. And I understand that business wise, but I'm not doing this business. I do this for the fun of it. So like when I look at this, it's like, man, we only have so much time. We only have so much, moments that we can appreciate when it comes to what we have in front of us, especially when it comes to the special heavyweight division. Like This is a revived golden age of the heavyweight division, and there's a possibility we might not see some of these fighters fight each other, and that is a shame, and that will go down in history as, in my personal opinion, one of the biggest regrets ever. And so I'm hoping, I'm praying, and I'm staying, you know what I'm saying, in a positive mindset that these fights will happen. But you know, it's just very interesting seeing where we came from when it came to this heavyweight division 4 years ago to now, where everyone was saying, oh, well, you can't fight me because this is who I am and this is the level I'm at. And now we're in a situation where we have a clear, you know, number one guy, and there's only one fighter willing to fight anybody, and that's Wilder. Coming off of a retirement. Andy Ruiz, you say you're willing to fight anyone. I do believe him, because he just fight Luis Ortiz, the guy no one else wants to fight, who, you know, you ain't making no money off of. Joe Joyce now all of a sudden come out of nowhere. He'll fight anybody. But the money and the decisions come down to the same power hand when it comes to Tyson Fury. Usyk is a new guy. Joshua will not fight anybody that does not make sense to him money-wise and power-wise. And that's the sad part. So we may never see Joshua versus Ruiz 3 unless Joshua's in a situation where this nigga is on a 3-fight losing streak. You feel me? No cap. That's the sad part. That shouldn't be the case. That should never be the case, but that's the sad part. We finna go crazy tonight, baby. I don't know how many people pay attention. Probably nobody pay attention. Probably nobody up in here, because we talking that real shit. We talking that real shit. This heavyweight division is going to be one of the most biggest disappointments in boxing history in a long time. We're having guys fight each other that shouldn't be fighting each other. Why do we see Fury fighting Chisora? Andrew Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder is supposed to happen, but it's probably not. I'm going to put it back up. I wasn't listening to it, but I'm going to put it back up. There's a reason why Andrew Ruiz is calling out all these different guys. They're not going to give him the fight that he wants. Usyk wants Wilder. But how many obstacles is Usyk going to have to go through to make it happen? Because we're talking about PBC, Al Heyman. Stop defending Al Heyman, people. These promoters are ruining the sport.
I step out of the ring and all that. I want to fight with the best, you know, and those, I feel those are the best.
Would you want to fight with Tyson Fury ahead of the one with Wilder that could happen next for you?
Of course, you know, but for some reason I have a gut feeling.
Hit the like button, please.
If Wilder fights me and he wins, he's gonna have to fight Tyson Fury, and I feel he doesn't want to fight Tyson Fury. I don't think he wants the WC bout. I think he wants to fight Usyk so he could get all the other bouts that he's never had, you know. And I'm kind of aiming for the other.
Ruiz knows that's a goddamn lie. Ruiz, you know damn well Wilder, the only reason why he came back was to have one more fight with Fury. I would love for somebody to argue against that. Wilder did not come back so he can, you know what I'm saying, get little petty awards and win against Helenius and feel good. He wants that forced fight against Fury. Fury knows that. That's why Fury continually speaks on that. Come on now, Ruiz. Don't be oblivious. Don't be naive.
Because since I had those bouts, I want the WBC bouts. So that's why I'm waiting patiently, man. I'm waiting patiently. I'm staying busy. I know I had a long layout because of the surgeries that I had, but I'm back, baby.
We've obviously seen your physique now.
We're going crazy with it.
A year, 2 years ago. This is the new version, Andy Ruiz 2.0. So is this the version we're going to see in future fights, period?
No, you know, there's always gains. There's always improved to gains, and always time to improve more, you know. I feel a fighter shouldn't always be satisfied of how he's doing or anything like that. I feel he needs to progress and, you know, work as hard as he can.
You mentioned the story when I interviewed you in the suite in Vegas with your kids running wild and we had to stop, start, etc. But do you remember the first time that you were ever told about Anthony Joshua? Do you remember that?
You told me. Yeah.
I told you there's a heavyweight from the UK, about 5 or 6-0, and you said, I've never heard of him, but I'm going to check him out. And then a few years later, you actually stunned the boxing world by actually stopping or knocking out Anthony Joshua at Madison Square Garden. So Yeah.
that was an amazing night, man, and I do remember that. And things happen for a reason, and I'm just happy that we did get that chance and we get that victory too.
Whether it's Wilder or whoever, when do you want to be in the ring next?
By the beginning of next year, maybe Cinco de Mayo. Congratulations, brother. Yeah. How you doing, man?
Allow your fire there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, man. As soon as possible. Like I said, I'm even if I'm over here on vacation, I'm still working out. I'm still running. I'm still trying to stay active. Something that I didn't do before. And before I never had my own personal gym. So now that I have my own personal gym, I'm always in there. So it's a lot different.
Okay. Well, listen, we're going to look forward to the main event, obviously, which is going to take place in a couple of hours. Very late timings here in Abu Dhabi. There's, I think that's Mr. Gomez there behind you. You all right, Eric? Yeah, we'll look forward to hopefully a great.
All right, I ain't mad at it. Look, I got nothing but respect for Andy Ruiz. I understand where he's coming from. I understand everything that he's saying, man. I ain't mad at nothing he's saying. Actually, I'm actually in full support of a lot of things that he's saying, for the most part. My only question, or I guess my pushback, or my what's the word for it? I guess I could say I'm just hoping that we aren't disappointed. You know what I'm saying? This is my prime. This is the prime for a lot of these heavyweights, man. I'm really hoping that, man, I don't even end up looking back, man, 4 or 5 years from now. I never saw Andy Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder. I never saw Andy Ruiz versus Joshua 3. I never saw Andy Ruiz, you know what I'm saying, versus Joe Joyce. I never saw Andy Ruiz versus Joseph Parker. I never I never saw, like, these are fights that I think need to be made, and the fights that can be made. These are fights that will have a good look. These are fights that will be a good time. And for some reason, you know what I'm saying, I have a feeling deep down that it's just nothing will ever come into play. Like, that's what scares me the most. And it almost makes me be like, this is why boxing is what it is. But at the same time, a lot of people say, like, this is also why boxing has been around so long, because we criticize boxing so much about their formula and how we don't ever see the great fights and the fights that make sense and the competitive fights. But we're also talking about a business that's been around for, 100+ years, whatever the case may be, that's been profitable and made money. And like, we want to apply things like, MMA, UFC, etc., Bellator, one championship, but it's like they ain't been around as long as boxing. So is really having the best fight the best really was profitable, or is telling a narrative and telling a story and make you think somebody is the best because of what we put into your face much more profitable than allowing the fans and the people to determine who they think is the best, and to having an overall understanding and an overall, agreement on that is the best fighter? Is that the most profitable thing, or is it more profitable for me to tell you who the best fighter is, and have y'all disagree or agree on it? And like me personally, I think that's the question that's coming into play, that a lot of people just don't want to talk about. A lot of people just don't want to acknowledge. A lot of people just don't want to see that for what it is, because they want to have a very simplistic mindset when it comes to the entire situation. And there's nothing wrong with that, because at the end of the day, you want to enjoy what you're watching. It's entertainment. You only have so long to live. So if you look too much into some of this shit, you ain't going to be able to enjoy it the way you want to enjoy it. That's a fact. I'm like, when you talking to me, you know what I'm saying? Then y'all know what it is. This is what it is. All right, so this is what we're going to do, man. I'm not going to keep it 110% the whole entire time. Y'all already know I spoke on Bivol versus Ramirez. I was not surprised by what Bivol did to Ramirez. That was an easy fight for Bivol. I actually had Bivol winning the majority of the rounds. I had Ramirez winning maybe 2 or 3 rounds. It was a pretty easy fight for Bivol. Obviously, he has to choose against Canelo and Beterbiev next. But at the same time, I think Bivol versus Canelo 2 is most likely to happen instead of Bivol versus Beterbiev. The reason why is because Yard versus Beterbiev has to happen. And that will happen before the Bivol fight. So in the meantime, that makes sense. So with that being the case, with me saying that, when it comes to Tyson Fury when it comes to AJ, Dillian Whyte. So basically my conclusion and my whole entire, perspective when it comes to that situation is it definitely seems as if AJ is looking to fight the winner of Whyte versus Franklin. If Whyte beats Franklin, obviously I feel like AJ is going to want that. That's the fight that's going to want up next. If Whyte loses to Franklin, I don't think AJ is going to go in that direction. He'll probably look to go in a different direction. It'll be interesting to see what he looks for. But I do think it's interesting for AJ to be upset and say, oh, well, they're giving us timelines and they're giving us dates and they're giving us deadlines and saying we can't do this if we don't sign by this date. But, what I'm saying, if you were going to have a real flex and if you were going to show off, hey, we're fighting before the end of the year regardless, even with you not getting this fight with Fury, you would have fought somebody, i.e., for example, a.k.a. Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence did not get the fight done, but Terrence Crawford showed like, yo, that doesn't mean I wasn't in shape. That doesn't mean I wasn't ready for the fight. I wasn't looking to do the fight. I wanted to fight because you see I'm fighting David Iverson for this amount of money. You know what I'm saying? And we have yet to have the announced fight for Errol Spence. Supposedly it's Keith Thurman, but we'll see. I would think by now when a big name like Keith Thurman, if they're supposed to be fighting by, December, early December, late November, they would have an announcement by now. So that tells me that there's probably not going to be what a lot of people speculated to be. But either way, you see how that went. So seeing AJ saying, well, I'm willing to wait all the way until 2023 to, get the winner of Dillian Whyte versus Franklin and then maybe get, whoever I can in the heavyweight division at the top, that tells me that, yeah, the deadline was a big problem for him because he wasn't ready to fight by that deadline. Simple as that. He didn't want to fight before the end of the year. He's saying he's devastated that he didn't fight before the end of the year. If you really wanted to fight before the end of the year, you would have. There was someone that was willing to fight. So I'm not stupid. So that's the situation for that. So, all right. I'm not going to be long with it because I already feel how I'm feeling. I'm feeling good. I was hoping, even though it was early, 9:30, I'm like, maybe I should have put the, watching the football game or something. A lot more y'all would have came through. But we're going to end on this note, man. I'm definitely not done. Eddie Hearn talking about Conor Benn. I'm very interested to see what Eddie Hearn's thoughts are. Where supposedly his B sample also came out, positive as well. So, it smells like a cheat, looks like a cheat. Feels like a cheat, thinks like a cheat. Nigga might be a zebra. I don't know, but let's go ahead and play this. Let's move on to the Conor Benn situation. I got the links up in there. Anybody want to come up in here and change the, perspective conversation? I ain't got no problem with it. I'm having a good time. But I probably won't be on, too much longer. But let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and let's get into this whole Eddie Hearn situation. Let's see what he got to say when it comes to Conor Benn testing positive both samples. I ain't heard this yet.
Now, the last topic, Eddie, I got to talk to you about the Conor Benn situation. Give us an update on what's going on with him. What ruling is going to get sent out to him?
So he's going through a legal process at the moment where he will have a hearing over the next couple of weeks. Ultimately, that's going to decide his fate or his immediate fate in boxing. There's a huge amount of science and research that's gone on behind the scenes. That case will be presented and he will be found not guilty or he'll be banned. 3 months, 6 months, a year, like whatever that could be. And we need to go through that process because until then, he can't even think about fighting and he wouldn't either. So, he has to go through that process. He has to have that hearing and that will happen over the next couple of weeks. And we want that to speed up because obviously there's a lot of people talking in the media. Let's get the facts out there. Let's hear his case and let someone decide his future in boxing. And it's going to be a very big fight for him.
How long would a suspension be for something like that?
Absolutely no idea. Depending on the ruling from the case, in terms of the levels, in terms of the potential contamination. When we talk about contamination, whenever you say that, people say, oh, pull the other one. The science of these numbers and around all these other tests could suggest that. But you can't just say it's contamination. Ultimately, I've been through this with Conor Benn a number of times, a dozen times where I've had him in the office over the last, month, 6 weeks with his team and everybody. It's shown up in his system. You have to justify that and you have to give your case for that. So in that respect, if you can't just say that the science believes it's a contamination. Is that okay?
That sounds like he going in
Even if you've been
circles,
unlucky,
man.
you have to pay the consequences. So that may come in the shape of, if someone felt like it wasn't a deliberate ingestion of this substance, is it a 3 month or 6 month? If they feel it was, is it 12 months? Is it 2 years? I have no idea. But ultimately, he's in a very difficult situation. And also, Marcus, the public have already made up their mind without knowing
This boy
anything,
Eddie can
really,
talk,
because
man.
in
If I
this
was able to
situation,
talk like him,
it's
I
not
probably
really
would have
innocent
just
until
as much
proven
money as
guilty.
this man.
It's guilty until proven innocent.
understand.
And I get that, because if you fail a drug test, you fail a drug test.
You
It's
sound
in your
completely
system.
different than what
And you
you
have to
sounded
prove why
previously,
it's
bro.
in there. And that's now the biggest fight that he has in front of him. And we have no idea when he'll be back in the ring. But until this process takes place, he can't think about it. I don't think he wants to think about it, because he wants the public to hear all the facts, and he wants a decision to be made, and then he wants to either deal with that or resume training and get back in the ring.
When is it gonna happen in terms
good.
of the British Border Control going to meet with them and decide all that?
I think that the hearing will take place in the next week or two. I've no idea how long it's going to take. There's a big legal process going on. I would think that over the next 3 or 4 weeks there'll be a final decision in terms of his future in boxing and when that could potentially resume.
In terms of the contamination from what he's saying, I think a lot of fans, when they looked up the actual substance, are wondering how the heck is something like that end up in any sort of supplement? It's something used to boost someone's testosterone. What 25-year-old needs a boost in testosterone? Like, that's when you as a person, as an athlete, have the highest testosterone when you're in 25, 26, around there. I guess, what would you say to that?
Nothing. I mean, I would also say that this particular substance you would never ever use to cheat in boxing when you are being tested across the board with UK. Don't forget, Conor Benn requested additional VADA testing for this. This substance, when I talk to the scientists, the experts about this stays in your system for months and months and months when you're on a cycle of it. So you would have to be, have a very low intelligence level to even consider taking. And I know how professional Conor Benn is in his preparation. So again, like, it's hard doing interviews on it, Marcus, because people have already made their decision. And when I talk, they go, "Oh yeah," but knowing him, right, and knowing him, again, like, I go back to when we made the fight, and he's asking me to do VADA testing. Like Eubank's asking me to do VADA. He knows he got tested 7 or 8 times during this process, right? He didn't think that he wasn't going to be tested. And all the tests around it, because of the levels. And I've seen some people, like Dan Raphael, talk about trace levels are irrelevant. They're really not irrelevant when there's testing around it that were negative, So I'm not really supposed to say anything on this, but I like to talk on it because I speak quite passionately about it. But ultimately, it's going to play out, and you're going to get all the information, and a court or a governing body is going to make a decision on his future in the sport. And what you think or what I think is actually irrelevant. And that will be in due course.
In terms of that, how has he taken it, Conor? And has he told you, like, look, I didn't take this on purpose?
Like, the first thing you hear, like, I'm not an idiot at the same time. I know that very often a fighter or an athlete that cheats will, of course, deny taking any supplement. So the first time when you receive that information, my immediate response is guilty, right? But also knowing the kid, it was kind of like a moment of confusion where I'm like, what? Like,
Conor, Eddie's capping.
Like,
we all know
this is a guy,
Eddie
again,
big
requesting
capping,
testing,
bro.
know that he's like, and he, like, Tony Sims, his trainer, who is the purest man in boxing. He's been my friend for years. Like, they virtually live together, right? And I'm like, this just doesn't make sense. Then we start doing the research. We get the reports from the labs. We start looking at the other testing around it. We speak to the scientists. We do our research.
All right, hey, you talking too much for a real nigga. All right, look, y'all. Salute to the people. I already told y'all I wasn't finna go live tonight, but here I am nonetheless. We're gonna be back tomorrow. I may go ahead and go live for the Lakers game. Or it might just be a Fluenceboxing, but we're gonna be back tomorrow. I'm gonna do another daily check-in. I didn't do a daily check-in tonight. But consider the daily check-in, man. Much love to the people, man. Hop up in here, show some love. I dropped the link. Wasn't really popping tonight already. I'm pretty sure if I would have went like mad late, like the 10 o'clock type shit, I know I probably had everything jumping, going crazy, right? But I'm chilling for the most part, man. I got work tomorrow. I actually look forward to work, which is a weird thing, but I've had a good time. I had a good day today, so I ain't got no complaints. I want to say I love y'all, Black Goose TV family. We're going to be back tomorrow. You already know what it is, man. Stay blessed. Don't be stressed. Keep moving. I don't want to say less, but at the end of the day, life is crazy. That's why it's a mess. But, baby, you already know we finna keep moving everything. Be smart like we on chess. You feel me? I'm out of here, baby. Much love to the people. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Much love to people.